Do you listen and do like other things at the same time?
Yeah.
Is that
What?
like
You know, people can't actually multitask. They're actually just switching from one thing to another.
Not people, but women.
Makes you slower.
No, it's supposedly not true. Like, you can only do one thing at a time. You're just switching quickly between things.
Until next. That's cool.
So we have one expert who wants to ask questions. Actually, you probably should be
What?
Yeah. You should probably just sit up front and then just sit next to them.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Real quick.
okay.
No?
You're better than this one.
Even when I hear the word, say it again.
Unless you already had actual concepts of that. Most people do. Actually, yeah, most people do. So you can do that.
Yeah, it works. I actually did not. But where did you? So if it comes from a file, it says for the first one. Works. Mine works. I don't know why.
Everything we're doing,
Actually, I'm
yeah, it's easier, right? This isn't making us fall. It's like it's just.
Oh my gosh, that's almost my address. Almost. I live here. So it's trim. So I can afford Did you follow the
And then geocode on yeah, what's that? and then run the file.
You guys still follow like the stage system, right? Like local stage.
Right, but yeah, it was, we were from usually at the very stages point of production data.
Oh yeah.
And QA points of
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Oh. So they have
what did you do?
It takes all your
I know you're already done.
with your it's like you can get your address. But if you console logging. There's the specific address. I see.
I'm like this guy.
The formatted
You want a
address.
complicated enough question, right?
But I'm paying you.
I just saw that.
You're being careful, you know that. You're part of the same program.
Being
It's hard work, I gotta do it. Slice and why is that? I don't understand.
I don't know why this like.
Pulling all the arguments together, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know what you're saying. So you're saying you said a lot of things. Why? What's up with slice? And then you said why don't you think that is?
And you're using slice.
This one.
You guys have for loop. I use the for loop on the solution, but he has a different. So he just had a different. Slicing and space. Oh, it's index between index. So slice takes you from whatever index you give it to before the index that you give it. Otherwise, it's if you only give it one argument, it's from that element onwards, that index onwards.
Which is 34. Doesn't say that. Where does it say that?
Look at
Oh, it should take each one as. It's saying you're saying that each one is not being taken as part of I see. Yeah, then you would have to use a for loop at that point.
Maybe just accept it.
Yeah, but then in case there aren't any, or there's some other characters. Because you're saying that what if someone passes in a comma to the command?
Oh, my instructions don't say that to longitude.
I am passing.
But let's say that you pass in like other stuff too.
So there's like.
And that's what comma is.
I thought you Well, let's what are you?
What does that look like?
So does the API, does the API take out this stuff?
That's your API.
Because I think some of them, they put the plus in. I couldn't have more.
Yeah, so that's the issue, like with some of these packages, and doing some magic in the background. You can actually look at their code.
Well,
If you go to the GitHub, and you can see how they're
we
doing
got
it.
a semantic
But
problem.
essentially, you're just saying, like, I'm sending you information, and this is the best part of a package, is you don't have to do anything to work. Like, you just say, send me information.
Yeah. So just make sure, that's why when you first console of your code and then your code document.
Yeah, so it strips it off. But that wouldn't normally happen, right? Like any other function, like this is just like this specific function.
Normally we slice and
Yeah. Well, not every space. This is on. This is on slicing on. The right subscriber. Yeah. 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 So anytime there's a space, correct?
So there's a lot, so this
Yeah, so it does some like intelligent stuff. Yeah, because I noticed that when I put everything in one word, it's still like, yeah, because it does a search. Watch, put everything in one word. That's it.
I know what it does, it's just
Yeah.
I'm sitting on my
And then that's where you don't have to use
Yeah,
If you do a console.log, so get the data, just console.log the data.
Yeah.
Or the. But they do it for you. Why when someone does it for you, that will save you time. No, but this API will always do this. But so you always count on this API. That's correct. Shouldn't be. You should assume that every API can do it. You should assume that they don't have to. This is just how the Oh yeah.
So how do you get any information?
I can get the object fine, I just don't understand how to parse out.
And then that comes up.
Pull out when you are formatted address.
It's like Google Maps. It's like you have a bunch of random things that come Did you guys imagine having
Oh, you know, I got a list of things.
Okay, so,
this location will take anything.
so I got it, I just split object, right?
Oh, it's Oh, let me see. I think you can.
Oh, right.
I can't parse that out this format address. But I don't, it just keeps returning undefined, like, do I have to put results, not formatted address?
Where it kind of singled out that piece of information. Where you
I had it here before, but I believe, I mean, before I was just like, and I tried like data, not results.
Something with data that was sold on that. Like create kind of strings so that it uses. Just do console and console. usually we pre-append the string with the thing you're just out. So here you would pre-append data dollar source, basically, and then comma, and then constant data dollar source.
How do you do that?
So before data dollar source, literally put a string. And then in there put data dot result.
Oh,
And
I
just
see what
giving
you're
it a
saying.
title.
Just like a header.
Exactly. And then comma. That way when you see a lot of console function, I'm like, oh, this is the console for this. This is the console for that. Okay, so Joe, for is the full object.
Oh wait, sorry.
Does that give you back more hits? Libraries for that. As object. I thought this was instructions. You go the admin.
I copied that.
The reason why I'm saying that is because there's so many. So,
I forgot to do
Now, what is it on your stage?
data application.
and that extra.
Formatted address.
So,
More formatted.
that's from.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Or do we want geocode? Is that what we want?
just like return it, yeah. I think you just want to object. Yes, I mean, but if you did want to get down to formatted address, you could start carving.
Or
What's the
how do you do that?
Look back at the
Just
console log data.
Use the project.
It's the first,
Like something
yes.
like
Exactly, it's data dollar results is literally an array.
it's
And it's an array.
items that were results in.
So it's really an object, one object. And the find that's going to go back.
Because I know JavaScript.
No, that's the first. This one right here is equal to that. So this is an array of one object. So if you go data dot results, it says so you're pulling an array. Now you want to go into the first index, into the first element that the array has. So how do you go? How do you say, give me the first element? So now let's see. Yeah, but first always start like breaking it down and then console on the instances so that you never get to the other issue. So if it's console on that, now like data dot result starts with a curly brace. Now you're in the object. Now let's do just dot address components. The first thing just to see like that we're getting that. Now there's two things about that, right? Address, or you'll see right now.
Or do you have to do that?
You want to see address of components, right?
Oh, because we don't want that. We want just this, which is after that.
Right, but we want to see if it started carving into like first data, then results at zero, add this, right? So that's kind of how you start carving down into things that are really nested, kind of expected console right? And that way you can see like, okay, am I in the right place? I can totally get to address our components, so I can totally get to another key value here for this object of data dot results at zero. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes.
But I think for this project, I want to see a bigger object.
This is
It is supposed to be keeping track of that. Oh, actually, I'm finishing building this game, so we could hackathon a game. That'd be fun. Do you like games? Oh. Wait, really? Oh shit, cool. Well, I did one using Firebase as an example because I want to test it out. So it's just all client side so far, and I want to make it into. So I want to use it as an example. Yeah, exactly. And then building it with different technologies. So the same game with different technologies. So yeah. Wait, sorry.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because if you do less than
Take a look.
All right. So let's get going.
That's how. I got Los Angeles.
So what did you do for that? What did you do?
What are you doing?
Yeah, but then did you join it?
No, this isn't it.
Is there general preference for Python 3? Oh yeah, is there general preference for Python 3?
So if you did the challenge, then it looks something like this. You have the geocoder. You require it, and then all you do is just put the arguments in the node args. We have an empty string for holding address. From there, this is actually kind of wrong. You probably want to do this. Well, I want to put a space in between. So this is essentially like address plus equals quote plus node args. So this is a solution they had. I'd probably make it a little bit more efficient, like do a plus equals. That's fine. So you start off at 2, again, same for loop. If you start off at 2, then you're bypassing the first 2 arguments in the process again. From there, you just concatenate. So some people use the concat. You can use concat, or you just use this plus, and this will combine it just fine. We'll put this here to put a space between each one. Cool thing about geocoder is it does a lot of processing for you and string interpolation for you. So you can give it a bunch of bad like weird words and stuff, and it'll try and put them in the right order and like make them, take out the commas and all that stuff for you. So it's actually really cool. Did you put dirty words in there?
No, not dirty words, but I had commas, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. You're like smiling
I
maliciously.
was like, yeah, I was wondering why my thing was working.
Yeah, so geocoder does that for you. So it's pretty cool. So after we get that address, we're just doing console.log address to make sure that we have the an address that's been parsed correctly. From here, we pass that address into geocoder using their method called geocode. So once we pass that address in, we have a callback function. Again, notice error first. So we haven't used the error object, but we could, right, if we wanted to. So we could use this error object right here. The data is the information being returned. We console.log it using stringify. Again, forgot what this middle one does, but this one will give you the amount of spaces. Okay? So this is the information being put in a nice format, and then this is the amount of spacing inside of it. So this is just for making it look better. Yeah?
So if you use the try catch, would that stop the code? Would that stop running the code?
Yeah, if you use an if else, it's not going to run. Yeah. So if you do like an if else, then yeah. If you do if error, do this. Otherwise, do this. Then yeah, it's the same thing.
Just a try. That might be a little more professional.
Yeah. So you can use try if you want. Yeah. So try catch is the one used in like Java. If you guys know about try catching stuff like that. But I'm not going to confuse everyone else with it. In this case, just use if else. We haven't gone over try catch blocks. Okay. All right. Sorry. Any questions about this? Questions? That was it?
I thought you were trying to get the actual, just the coordinates.
It's confusing how it's written because it kept using the word geocode.
Oh, sorry. The geocode is the method.
Right.
And it gets you a bunch of information. Yeah, so
Okay.
sorry. That's them, not me. They gave you those information. See, I can always blame it on them, these people.
Those people.
Yeah.
So the no.
Mhm.
No, we all learned.
Oh, what does that mean?
That is a transform function to transform the array or the string. So it basically is a function. It's kind of like in sort where you give it a value.
Yeah.
That's how you want to manipulate it. So it's a function or array that transforms.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so like Gary mentioned, so he looked up stringify. What's the middle argument that you can pass in? If you want to transform the string into something else, then you can pass it a function, and it will do that.
So you can probably do like to lower
Oh, yeah, actually, huh?
or reverse.
Yeah, so you can do some cool stuff with that. All right. Never did that before. Okay, so now we're going to move on to package JSON. Ooh, yeah, this one's fun. Okay, so now we're going to combine two things together. Am I supposed to show you guys this?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. All right, so first let me just test it out. So this takes in geocode and weather.js. So what's the first things I need to do? If I'm looking at this file, what two things do you know that I need to download? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I go here, go up one, go into 05. I type in, so if I just type in weather, it won't work? What? Oh, you guys were right. Okay. So let me install, let's see, npm install weather.js or -js. Whoa. Oh, npm debug is running into weird issues. Okay. I'm just gonna uninstall npm debug. Oh, I spelled weather wrong. All right. So besides weather.js, huh?
You can install 2 at a time.
Oh, you're right. Why do I keep forgetting that? Yeah, you can just pass in multiple arguments. All right, I'm just gonna say the argument is I'm doing it step by step to show you guys. I did it on purpose. All right, so I have both of these, right? So if I went to npm modules, what should I see? What should I see? Leonard, what should I see if I go to node modules?
You should see weather-js and geocoder.
Correct. But I also see all this other crap. What is all this other crap? What did I do? These are all dependencies, yes. No, I just have a stutter, jeez. All right.
How come I don't see my dependence?
I think mine just installed in here. Is mine just being weird? But yeah, this is what happened to me half the time. Has oh I thought this said something else. Okay, never mind. You guys saw it too, right? Okay, whatever. All right, so now if I try to run these, whether I'm still running into issues. Oh, I think there's something wrong with the file. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, but mine might have an issue. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I have to pass it data in order for it to do something. Okay, so it is working. So this one, it actually requires us to pass data, otherwise it runs into an error because we're using another. So we're using multiple node modules. One node module is doing something with the information we're passing it, then sending that information to another NPN module, and then that's getting processed and returning something to us. Okay, so this one, what do we need to send it? Blah, 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 node. Let's do White House. Okay. White House. Boom. Pretty fancy. So White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is my little beach house. Current temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Sky is mostly clear. Tomorrow's forecast, low 60 or 76 Fahrenheit, high of 88. So this is formatted, and it has information from 2 separate node modules. So this is kind of similar. Are we completely low on time?
So actually, if you type in White House and workstation,
We have 15 minutes? Or 15 minutes past? Behind, yeah. So we'll just eat into sorry. All right, so, sorry, what were you saying?
if you type in White House, lowercase, White House, Texas.
Okay, I gotta see this. All right.
Is that where the Dallas Cowboys?
Is that? I don't know.
Oh, White House, Texas.
No, I still get White House.
Oh, I got White House, Texas.
What about Paris? Is it Texas or?
Oh, I think I corrected my yeah, I corrected my my code. So the one that they had it with no space. So it looked for White House as one word. Yeah, White House.
Yep.
So if you put a space, then that works. Yeah. I put an issue on GitHub issues on that. So simple things. So let's see if we did this. Then yeah, that's the one from Texas. So that's what it's doing. But if you do this, it comes out with the right thing. All right. So study this. Run it. The code does what I just mentioned. I want you guys to talk to each other and explain to each other what the code does, how it works at a general level, and how it works on a line-by-line level.
You can just do empty console that allows for spacing.
Yeah. Probably not the best thing, yeah. Okay. I'm distracting. I need food. I got jitters. So if you go to your file and you can have you guys like do it just to see like how those look. Alright, so there's a bug in the code. What's the point of having a string like this? There's no point where what the intent is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which one?
Right, what's the format of that?
I don't understand why they're running the full loop for
Right? I didn't really do that.
Which one?
Well, look,
why would you need to do that?
today was like, I just slept in their class. If this was a 9 a.m., I was like, no. I'll watch the podcast.
Oh, some places don't have zip lines.
Why not just do
So
address?
if there's equal to it's like,
If it has a postal code, then split the postal code if it has a county, then you split.
so run all of the address components, and then specify short name.
Yeah.
Locality is the city, right? Ours through the object.
You don't want to just put it next to each other.
It's just looking through the components and if it does have a zip code, right? I don't know why it's giving the city name of the county. The way they wrote it.
I think that's how it is.
Oh, you know why? It's because they use the zip code circulation. That's why they have those. That's why they have to do that. There's no zip code in the city.
Well, it's because when you run the node, it gets you know, you can certify like state.
If zip code is not equal to an empty string, meaning that it exists.
Just because like, it's been, there's two spaced out or something.
It's just, well, I was does not equal to this empty string. So if it's
Well, you find it here, right?
oh, the object will say like
Well, it would say short name.
I like the first.
I don't think they're already for you.
Like I don't like it how it's copied, you know,
like now I can read that node.
yeah, like he's in the bed, right? Gets up and
So I think so like the geocode runs like the geocode so as you hear, these are all geocode. So the weather is going off the geocode up to our. So if it's not, and then if what's that mean? If zip code does not equal, oh, yeah, you're right. So if zip code is not a string, no, it's not a string. So search zip code. Else search so if you find the weather based on the zip code, but if there's I mean, and these are defined.
Or localities could be
Doesn't the city have like already? So how do we say that?
Or even something. So the object of the geocode sometimes doesn't return as well. Like if I were to search South Central, whether it's South Central, there is no zip. And it'll just give you a city data.
This is the format and answer your question.
Sorry. We're just running low on time.
It's cool. We're just hanging out back there.
Oh, whatever. Yep, you guys can do whatever you want. You know, just.
It's complicated stuff, bro.
I mean, kind of. All right. So, can anyone explain the code to me? I know I don't. Can someone please tell me where I am also? I also have Alzheimer's. Where's my mom? Apparently Freddie knows where my mom is. That's what he's going to say. Said it before you did. Anyone want to explain the code to me? Joe, do you want to try? Is that a yes? Okay. Let's try it out. Let's try explaining this.
Oh, geocoder?
Let's try explaining just this file. Yeah.
So you're just requiring the two package geocoder of weather, and then you're just getting the arguments with the prop node R.
Yep.
And then you're creating an address variable,
Mm-hmm.
going through the loop, doing the first two arguments,
Okay.
and then adding them together, all the variables together.
All the variables, so all the different arguments that were passed in?
Yeah.
Okay. So you put that into a string.
Yeah, you use
Into
space, but like I use plus in some of the.
Yeah, I didn't get that part.
Yeah, I use plus, but I mean space I guess works too.
Yeah, so you can do a lot of different ways. Like you could have done just plus equals. This is just their way of doing it. So whatever method you guys use, as long as you guys got the same result, which is spaced out string, right? So every argument is spaced out into a string.
Yeah, and then once you do that, that's a string variable. You pass it to geocoder just picks whatever string it is. And it just kind of guesses what you want. You can put some weird stuff in there, but guess what you want.
Yeah.
And then once it gives you the result, you get the fully formatted address by doing the data.result0 formatted address.
Mhm.
That's the actual property within it that gives you the full address.
Okay, so data.result0 is actually where the full address is, right?
Yeah.
So you're just doing you're just going through the JSON object. You're able to then get the first element from here, and this is in an array within this object, and then you're saying get the format address.
Yeah, the format address is actually the full address they give back to you.
Okay.
And you can parse that data because that one's formatted the same way on every return.
Excellent. Okay.
Return.
Mhm.
And you can get the zip code of the city from that. And that's what they do down there. So,
Okay. So now we have these variables being declared and initialized with empty strings, right?
Yeah.
So that you said that now what they're doing is they're going through this data.results and address components,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get certain things out, right?
Yeah. Postal code or the locality.
Mm-hmm. So if they're trying to get if the type is equal to postal code inside of this, right? So now we're going to this deeply nested JSON object, right? So we have this deeply nested JSON object. We're using a for loop to go through it, and it's saying if the key is this, make zip code equal to the value of this key, or whatever this is, right? The short name. If it's locality, make city equal to that locality, or this types, whatever, right? Yeah. So that way, if you have zip code or city, you can find out the information. Does that not make sense to anybody? You guys can ask.
So you're always going to prefer zip code unless it's not that.
Right, exactly. So you always, zip code will find something a lot better because city, there could be multiple names.
That's weird though, because when I use the geocode, actually the location gives me better data than
Really?
yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
Zip code didn't show up sometimes. When I put the city, it showed up.
That was
It's strange.
Well, because sometimes the results from the geocode doesn't have zip.
Yeah, sometimes they don't have zip code.
Oh, so that's why they have both. Okay.
City is more reliable actually, for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, but then city, like for example, I did south central, and then I get
Okay. That's probably gonna find the first thing that was South Central.
Yeah.
Is this on the
South LA.
Yeah. Okay. So I think geocoder is actually a wrapper around Google Maps geocode API. Yeah. So you guys are probably kicking yourselves because it's a lot faster and a lot easier. So you just use geocoder.
It's about the same. It's not that much.
Was it not too difficult?
It's almost the same.
Oh, okay. I thought this was easier. Like looking at this, I'm like, oh, this is so much cleaner.
It's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah. Okay, so you have your search, right? So if you don't have a zip code, oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, so if the zip code is not, if there's no zip code, if there's a zip code, then use a zip code if there's no zip code.
Yep, exactly. Now we're done with the geocoder stuff, right? So what do we do with the geocode information? So now that we've set these variables, now we're able to send them in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you run the weather API with the search string of city or zip, whatever the search string is.
Mhm.
And then you get a result, and then you get the stuff you need, whether full address, the Fahrenheit, the temperature, current, the low temperature, stuff like that.
Exactly. So we took out the information from geocoder, and then we said, okay, we have either the zip code or we have the city. So if we don't have the zip code, right, then we set it to city. If we do have a zip code, then we set it to zip code. So we pass that search into here as search with either the zip code or the city, and we're able to get all this information. If there's an error, then say we don't have the information. Otherwise, we do this. So pretty cool, right? So we're doing explicit return.
What does that do?
Return will stop the statement. If you do a return, it'll stop the function.
How come you don't need to pass anything?
It'll, by default, return undefined. You just want to end. You don't need to return anything if you're just ending it, right? If it's an error, you just return. Because you're not getting anything back. You can return an error if you want.
You're not using it, right?
Yeah, unless you want to do this. And then you want to use that.
Right.
Okay. So now we're going to do complicated shit. Oh, but first I'm going to go over node packages. I already went over this. Alright, well this one I'm going to ask you guys questions. Why might zipping up code containing NPM packages and sending it around be a bad approach for a collaborative team?
Can you say that again in English?
No. Okay. It says, from here, ask students the question, why might zipping up code, so let's say we have this package json.zip, right? So that contains a bunch of information. Why might zipping up code containing NPM packages and sending it around be a bad approach for a collaborative team? So I have this zip file, contains NPM packages. Right now, if I unzip that, it's going to have actual information inside. Why might that be a bad idea?
They might not
No.
There might be a virus.
Maybe if you're Joe. If you're Joe and you wanted to give other people viruses. They already gave me the answer, so this is cheating for me. The hint is, it starts with you would have to. One of the hints is you'd have to. The other one is if one. The other one starts with there is no.
But can you see the question like in a more...
Yeah, why might zipping up code containing NPM packages and sending it around be a bad idea? So why might zipping up code, so let's say you have these NPM modules, right? And you zipped it. You package it. When you compress it, and when you compress something, you zip it. Oh, sorry, does anyone understand the concept of what zipping means?
There you go. Kind of. You found the problem.
Okay, sorry about that. Zipping just means that you compress a file into a compressed format called a zip format. When you unzip something, then you're uncompressing it and you're able to see all those things. When you have something in zip format, it's going to look like this. This is the structure that the algorithm then reads and is able to extract the data out of it. It allows you to send files in a very compressed way. So I can send something that's like 100 megabytes in like 2 megabytes. Pretty cool. If you guys have seen Silicon Valley, data compression, it's a middle out.
Is that the one where they like when they deleted the porn?
Yes, that's the show. I'm glad that that's what you're thinking about right now.
He was like, what do you say? He says because his compression was so strong.
Yeah, because the compression's so fast. It's like, yeah.
You lost way more data than you should have.
Yeah. I'm glad we're learning. Okay, I'm just gonna give you guys the answers. Okay, number one.
Well, if there's an error in the compression or the decompression, you won't know it.
That's true. That's one reason, right? But it's not on here. But that is one reason, right? So if there's an error in compression, decompression. Other answers, you would have to bundle in each of the large NPM dependencies every time you share your code, which would add to the overall size of the code, right? So instead of you passing around like the dependencies, instead you just do an npm install based on something else. So we're going to go into why this is a bad idea of having to install each time and just passing around all this information. So it's asking why it's a bad idea to continuously have to pass around this information, whether it's zipped or unzipped. Okay? We're zipping it to make it a smaller package. And when we unzip it, we still get a lot of information, right? So we still have that information problem. If one developer updates the package to use a more recent version, then everyone else's code goes out of sync and requires a transfer of files again. This is a concept that we're going to go over. And this exists in Rails and other formats and frameworks as well. There's no clear and easy way to know which dependencies are being used. If we had many files with each using different dependencies, we need to dig into each and every file to figure out the full list. You guys are probably wondering, what the fuck are dependencies? Well, dependencies are just programs and files that whatever we are using is dependent on. It needs these things to work. Okay? Stephanie, go off of Facebook. So let's say that we have our geocoder NPM package, right? Geocoder has, I don't know how many dependencies. It needs programs A, B, C, and D in order to run, right? These are its dependencies, okay? So geocoder is not just like, a standalone program. It requires other things, and it's built off of other packages. So they're being lazy too, right? That's all it is. It's like, programmers being lazy, which is good. All right. So now what we're saying is, instead of transferring all these things, including all the dependencies, across each project, this could lead to issues, right? Even if you zip it, which would make it smaller, you still have to unzip it at some point. Not only is it a size issue, it's also an issue of tracking what versions that you're using.
Don't
right?
you have the list of what you need in package JSON?
That's what we're going to do. That's the solution. That's what it's going to. So that's what we need, package management. So this exists in, again, every framework. Rails, use a gem file, okay? In this one, in Node, we're going to be using a package.json file. Python, does anyone? .NET, what do you use to manage packages?
MVC has a package manager.
There we go. So they have a package manager in .NET. So we're doing the same thing over here. This is a concept that exists across every framework, right? Whatever libraries we're using, we need a package manager to manage these. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the package.json in number 5. Okay. So this one says number 5. You guys not see all this stuff?
I'm fine.
In 6, no, our 5 didn't get that.
Oh, I might have done this locally. Okay.
But we
So-
have it in 6.
Hmm?
We have it in 6.
Yeah, that means I probably overwrote it in number 5 when I was messing with stuff. So in 6, you guys apparently have the right one, which is this one. Actually, no, this is Inquirer.
Inquirer intro or package?
No, so I wanted this one, which is geocoder and weather.js. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So notice that in our package.json file, we have a JSON object, right? This JSON object has a bunch of different information. Now, this was created when we did what? npm init. Okay? So when we first started off, we created this package.json file, right? It was created for us. It has a bunch of information. Now, what we're looking at is only one part called dependencies, right? So that shows the name of certain things that we recognize. It shows geocoder and weather.js or weather-js. These are two npm external packages, each of which has a version number next to it based on what version number that we downloaded. Now, this wasn't automatically added. We actually have to set this to be added to the package.json file. Now, why would we want to do this? Arpad mentioned it. Can anyone tell me?
So you know what packages we need?
So you know what packages we need, right? So now, if anyone starts up using our application, let's say that we hire Colin. We hire Colin, and he's our new developer, and he just got onboarded. Now, instead of having to include all the packages and constantly have to update them manually, handing around files or doing something stupid, you have a package.json file, and it looks at all these different dependencies and says, oh, okay, these are the ones I need to install. So all Colin has to do is type in npm install. Installs everything that he needs, okay? With the latest versions. So everyone's up to date. Same thing happens in Gemfile and Rift. So
rather than saying npm install geocoder, we just do npm install, and which for the dependencies and installs whatever.
exactly. Yeah. Yep. Is this the ones that we installed, right? Yeah. No, that's what I said in the beginning. Oh, did I just say the latest? Oh, sorry. No, I said the earlier. I said it's the ones that we installed are the ones that get added to there. So, sorry if I mixed everyone up. My bad.
So you said that you're not gonna, if you're zipping the file, sending it, if you're zipping the node node packages,
Yeah, no
and
package.
you're sending it, then you might not get the latest version of the package, right?
Yeah. So, well, you might have a different version than, let's say, someone rolled back or did a different one. This way, everyone has the same one, right? Because this package.json is going to be passed around to everybody.
So you're not necessarily you don't wanna update, but you just wanna be constant.
Yeah, everyone has to be on the same
Right.
level. So there might be, because let's say that you get a version. Okay, so I'm gonna ask. This is the same concept, right, as Rails. So if you have, a dependency that has a certain version, another version is not working, so you guys are using a more stable version. Same thing. Okay, yeah. So let's say that you have something like for instance, a gem version 1.9.2 works much better than 2.0. You don't necessarily want the latest, so everyone's been stuck on 1.9.2 because otherwise other dependencies will fail. So everyone's been fixed to 1.9.2. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but in the last class, when we were installing node packages, somebody had made a comment about one gets added to here automatically and one doesn't.
One package gets
Yeah, like what was it? It was the movie.
OMDB?
Yeah. So there were two ways to install a node package.
Mm-hmm.
One was install request, and then another way where it gets added in here for you.
Oh yes. Yeah. So that's the -- save.
Okay.
Right. So that's the command. Yeah. So the option is so if you want to add the if you want to install, and that's what I'm going to get to next. So if you want to install a node package and have it add to the dependencies at the same time, then all you do when you type in okay, I'm going to go to command line. So first off, let's delete this. You guys probably don't have this anyway. So what I'm going to do is rm-rf node modules. Don't listen to the other guys about destroying your computer. And let me remove package.json too, because actually I can just remove these. That's fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to type in npm install. I'm going to do weather-js. I'm going to do -- save. Now, what should happen is nothing. Oh, it does work. Okay. I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, so it gets added to this package.json file underneath these dependencies, right? So it gets added to a dependency list. So when you give it the save option, all it does is say, okay, save it to his package.json. Now, if Colin joins the team, he just needs to get this information. I don't need to put all my packages, my node modules into Git. I can just have him run npm install, and he gets everything. Okay, so let's put the other one in too. So let me put in, and I'm going to show you guys how that works. So npm install, what's the other one? Geocode. Geocoder. I'm going to have to hurry up. Okay. Oh, I didn't save. Okay, so what happens if I do this? It works. Okay, so now what if I leave these in, but I delete that? So now what do? Well, check this out. If I do this, it installed them for me again, right? So now it keeps them up to date with whatever version number I have, with whatever package I've installed.
Because you saved it.
Because I saved it into package.json, just that name and the version number. That's it.
So would you type in npm install?
Yeah, just npm install. Yeah. What happens if you do an npm install without a package.json? I think it won't install any dependencies. Let's try it out.
It'll also save one folder ahead. Like,
Oh, yeah. So, okay, I don't want to do that. Again, if you don't have a package.json, it's going to go up the tree looking for package.json, and it's going to install node modules. But I think if you don't have any node modules listed anyway, then it's not going to really do much. So don't do that. Test it out, though. You're saying do an npm install, but you have a package, or you don't have a package.json, right? Then what it's going to do is it's going to try and install.
because in your case, you have files before it. that
Okay.
are packaged.
Why don't we just test it out? Oh, why don't we just test it out? Watch. Okay. It should just fail, actually, because we don't have anything for it to refer to. Package JSON. Okay. So if I do npm install. Oh fuck! Is it installing everything? Holy Jesus! It's actually not too bad. Let's see. It installed a whole bunch of stuff that it thinks it needed. Oh my god.
Patrick gave us all of them.
So you get what happened, right? Because you have files before it, and all of them have JSON
Yeah.
in it. So it went up the tree and installed it for every single JSON above it.
Well, I don't think so. Let me see. Let me see. This is interesting. Let's see. Here's the package.json. So the node modules are right there. Let's see what's in here. Holy shit. Yeah, so it went and looked for the package.json at the highest point, right? So if you do an npm install and you don't have a package.json anywhere, I don't know what's going to happen. But it looked and it found a package.json and it said, oh, you need a bunch of stuff? Fine, I'm just going to include it there. What happens, Cameron, if you don't have a package.json anywhere in your entire system and you do an npm install? Really? Oh, that's not too bad then. Apparently not though. Well, no, we did have a package.json all the way up the tree. I thought it wasn't going to do anything.
It will keep going up because like people do that all the time from subfolders.
Yeah.
You try to test it, find the directory tree, but if you go to like your user directory or something and kill them, try it there, it shouldn't be anything wrong.
All right, let's test it out.
Should, right?
Wait, am I going to fuck up my computer? No.
Try it. I'll try it. You know, go to like
All right, let's do it. All right, let me go to
Also go to a folder where you know.
music. I don't listen to music.
/10.
Yeah. Go to the root. Yeah.
Why don't we just try this?
Bar.
This is pretty high up. Okay.
Slash bar, slash user.
There you go. It just fails, yeah. It does not fail gracefully, but it does fail. Actually, that's kind of graceful. It's like, hey, it hasn't been found, so we're not going to do anything. All right, so we're kind of behind because we've been having a little bit too much fun. Yeah, init creates the JSON file. So why don't we go back and we'll create this init. Shit, where am I? All right. Okay, so we'll go to where is it? Full stack? Yeah, I'll go to full stack. Okay. Huh? GitHub is it's a command line program that teaches you Git via the command line. Yeah, try out GitHub. It's actually really cool. It's like, you know, everyone needs a hug. So does Git. Okay. So now I'm going to do npm init. And when I do that, I'm going to name this something that's lowercase. Meow. Yep, that's okay. And then 25 minutes behind. Okay, excellent. So yeah, let's just skip break time. Why not? Sorry, we just have to get through a lot. Yeah, because today was supposed to be a Saturday class, so that's why. Yeah. We're trying to fix the schedule with these stupid holidays. Why don't we just come in on Saturday? It's fine. We'll have it at Denny's.
If you're buying.
Dude, Victor's buying. He already told us. Thank you, Victor. You're a sweetheart. We'll get the powerhouse, whatever the fuck it's called, Power Slam. Grand Slam, whatever. The powerhouse, the Michael something, I don't know. All right, so we have our package.json that was created from doing an npm init, right? From here, Hannah's like, I'm not having this anymore. Jesus. Okay, so from here we just create node modules, right? So npm install, and then I do geocoder -- save. And now, where is it? Where is that geocoder now? It's in the file, right? So if I open up that file, then it should be there. So let's open up that file. Package.json, there it is. Okay. Do that again. npm install weather -js. And oh, I did forget to save it. All right, it's okay. I can just do -- save.
Can you just add it manually?
You could, yeah, you could add it manually, but it won't install it.
Right.
You'll install it once you do. npm install. Thank you. All right. So now we have this. So let's move on to the next part. Finally, 30 minutes behind. Excellent. Oh, and a lot of people are hungry, so if I don't give them a break, they will eat me. Okay. Okay, let's take a break. Eat food. Powers.
Sounds delicious, actually.
Now I want the powers. What was it called? Lumber Slam.
Lumberjacks.
Yep. Isn't that like a type of person?
Lumberjack slam. That's the biggest one.
I don't believe you guys. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna order the lumberjack slab, and they're gonna look at me like I made a dirty joke or something.
No, I was literally just at Denny's.
Really? Oh, okay.
The Grand Slam is that.
Okay.
You're getting me food. It's your sassy face.
I haven't been sassy at all.
It's so sassy.
I literally haven't.
Literally.
Hannah's been sassy.
You want me to show you? Let me show you. What?
I don't even remember what I wrote.
Building that pipeline.
Yeah. Oh. You guys can go farther. She said it.
What did I say?
I'm gonna report you.
What?
I do not look like a decent sorry.
That's not what I said. I said Omar needs to stop. And then I there's a gif of him.
I'm gonna pour all your water on your laptop. What was that? You just
That's you every time you teach.
I'm like an amazing teacher. You
Your
can
energy
teach
level
if your life
is like
depended on it.
here today, and I need it to be here.
Why aren't you here? Everyone should always be here.
I'm really tired.
Look, ours is putting in the effort. She's not energized. Hannah's almost awake. Is it really tiring? The kids, what are the kids gonna think?
Grandkids.
You grandkids, they're already
Babies have babies.
babies have babies. That's good though to have kids. You guys should have kids.
The two of us.
Just the two of you. I'm just gonna match people.
You should.
Okay, you two. And then
Yeah.
you guys already have 3 kids. Wow. You could have 3
Wait,
kids.
5.
Oh, it's one like a little.
No. It's the American dream. They're kind of big. I really don't want to right now. I just want to go to bed.
You didn't do anything all day.
Yes, I did. I
What
was
did
at
you do?
work.
You did nothing. I
Just
know.
because the first thing you do in the day is like get here at 6, doesn't mean the rest of us do nothing.
You know I got here at 10, and then I prepped. I prepped.
From 10 to 6?
Yeah.
What were you possibly prepping? Somebody else doesn't.
Oh, for the section. Yeah, I actually have to go through all these and redo them myself. That's why I correct all the mistakes that they make. You know that issue with the spacing? Yeah.
I missed it. Literally, I haven't missed a single percent. Normally, I'm really good.
A single nothing.
Okay. You're gonna be in your own group next time.
Okay.
You're gonna be all by yourself, and you're gonna be in the corner group. That's what I call it, the corner group. And you're gonna be presenting from the corner.
My friend who's really into like astrology
Oh, geez.
says that the last day of the month, whoever is like born in that month has a bad day. And I was born in August, so today is August 31st.
How'd you have a bad day?
It's just like a hard to concentrate day.
It's not a bad day, that's just the hard day.
I was like,
So then his astrology. Sure, analogy just didn't go in.
well, I don't believe in astrology anyway.
Then why bring it up?
I was supposed to get a package today, and it didn't come.
You did! It's called package friendly. You got so many packages.
None of the packages I wanted.
Oh, but you need it.
Didn't get that one.
God. I need to get so much stress because it's stupid in my house.
Okay.
Okay. No, yeah, we rent out most of my house over there. So I'm spoiled, so I have a house in a trust. So, but my mom owns it. She lives up in North. So,
Are your parents divorced?
yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, so this guy
You
is
get it on his
and what happens is, this guy
Probably not.
so he is filing a suit against my mom for
I
discrimination.
am.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to pay rent anymore, and he's trying to get all the neighbors into it, and he doesn't do anything all day. So he just sits in the front and just like tries to connive and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, so like I come home, and this is like waiting for it's like trying to fuck with us. I'm not gonna tell you his name.
No, like just his first.
No.
You live there as well?
Is it like
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Edwin?
like I said, because I'm spoiled for shit. But like, it's really stressful now because like my home is actually my best friend code, and now he's there like trying to yeah, and he's like trying to like send letters to people and like trying to get and like just fuck off.
What's the discrimination?
There's nothing. He's just making shit up. Yeah.
What kinds of shit?
We don't even know yet. Like my mom it's like she hasn't been really stressed out. I'm already like stressed
Is that
out.
girl?
Because I always told her intelligent.
Intelligent?
Please get out of this. I already told her what to do. I heard the Lord. That's like, come on, like your home is supposed to be. Yeah, but she's not a. She's like an immigration and human rights person. That has nothing to do with it. She helps immigrants that are undocumented and there's a ton of immigrants that come. Just in case, not everyone is happy. Technically, I'm happy.
So that makes you full.
No, my grandma is half like French and then basically, I think
It's a strong.
no, I'm sure they were like married into it, but they came from ex-colonies, so I'm assuming like,
You like never go to the Why are you looking at me? Of the two of us to look at it.
No, just you.
For the statement that people I think I'm the worst choice.
For a rapist. This is even more fun than you today because you look like
I really don't care. I was telling Colin, if this was undergrad, yeah, it's really in class, I would be here. It's not like, one of those days where it's like, nope.
this is really
I had that professor, and he was cooler than you. Bless me. She's the best. I didn't smoke with him, but I drank with him. I've been
yeah, like smoke weed, right? Yeah, you're not supposed to do drugs as students. And you're not supposed to drug as students. And that's like UCLA. That's like, you could have gotten in a lot of trouble.
Yes,
Right here, this campus.
Took him a long road.
yeah.
Like you said at Berkeley, like your professor.
God, he was drunk every day. Yeah, but I think he's an alcoholic. Yeah.
I feel like even the history professor who like sexually assaulted someone is still in the department.
What?
Yeah. Like, like no one here, and all they have to do is he has to leave his door open during office hours. He can't close his door. That's the only like restriction he has.
Worst thing that can happen, man. Somebody gotta come. Get drinks.
I'm just gonna drink. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna be drunk when I come in. Well, I refuse to obey that. I'm gonna keep it closed.
What did you talk about?
They'd be like, oh, okay.
They're like, well, if you insist, just please don't raise your voice. Don't sexually assault us, sir.
But the whole history department, like, wrote a faculty letter endorsing.
Oh, they're learning advanced
That's a
stuff.
lot of people. Yeah.
Questions that you get asked in this conference, practice those.
It's just like, damn.
A lot of them.
Yeah, she told us. This shit always makes me play.
Is she the one that reached out to you that you talked about?
I want to see him graduate.
Well, all this stuff
Maybe they just do this every year. Like, oh, they're starting a new grade.
Hop in there.
Ew.
Oh, he's gonna be here.
Oh,
yeah.
I did Does that work? Yeah. I love dogs.
Right, plus have fun.
Oh wait, I think I've read this article.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like.
Do they actually like understand things? 13 family dogs. That's a small.
Oh, yeah, this most of them are full-time.
And I think it is more like 2 yeah, they actually understand things. Yeah, it's really
I've heard that dogs are better at
I was watching a webinar.
Really?
There's like some guy who's like self-taught.
I wonder why.
like his dogs know that it's actually raining and they look over your plane. So
Fine.
he's
It's just like another.
Oh, yeah. That's true, dogs do know that.
But he's been calling like he found his school.
I think I'm getting a dog now.
Like have you started?
Yeah. I really love dachshunds. Our last dog was a dachshund.
Yeah, he's like
This
everything else.
place has like a litter.
I mean, you can do it.
Well, it's the same file. Yeah, like the bigger you make it, you start.
They call the brand law. You do.
Yeah.
In terms of your
They
ramen,
look like dachshunds.
something about ramen, like eating ramen, like in terms of your expenses and things like that, then you should just literally cut down everything else and just focus on
Yeah.
it.
We had a dachshund and they were like,
That's what he said. That's what he said. You know, you college student, you got your.
yeah, they had like really long bodies and short legs. That one's really fat. That one's name is Obi, which I shouldn't know, but my mom like follows it on social media.
So that's real.
Yeah, it's real. It lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
Boot camps, they kind of all you do.
Well, it got like surgery and then went on an
And you're
extreme
in
diet.
some of them.
I've never seen a dog so fat.
Yeah, pretty gross. But I love like floppy looking dogs, but I also really love golden retrievers. So this is a good like.
Yeah, from like 7 in the morning to like.
Okay.
all you do.
Yeah, that's really nice. And it's like
Yeah.
it's really
For us, it's like we're so displaced.
Yeah, big. But you have two, right?
yeah, but
Oh,
they're
no,
like
like,
animals. So I think those are like natural animals.
Give that one resident.
Are they like
oh, all your girls. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, because like,
They're so funny.
I get uncomfortable.
yeah.
Such
Sounds like you both speaking.
Oh, yeah, this is
And then you'll have like 5, you go, oh, I need this one, you just start
They were like really hard and
yeah. We're looking at dogs. Our friends are gonna have kids. So we also need dogs so that we're like, I know both neighbors. It sounds so weird. Oh yeah, that's very like stereotypical. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really like fluffy dogs. Like, these ones are gross to me. Are you serious? Yeah. I know this is supposed to be like cute, but it just looks like a
It's like a cartoon.
yeah. Really?
Yeah, like you saw the Airedale.
Just start the.
While you're in
It's supposed to be all in one setting though.
Are they like the smartest dog?
Make it like
No, actually.
Did you hear that? Let's say that again. My dog is mixed Chihuahua and Poodle. Oh, I thought you said he has the biggest. No. Did you hear that?
He's an asshole, he's a scary poodle, and he's a little
Like he knows he's smart, but then when he doesn't get what people want to do, he said that, and I'm thinking like, how big could this dog be?
Oh.
So I'm gonna do like a deal. So I'm gonna power through this.
Okay, why is he the
Or
biggest?
pay the money and power through this. And then why is no one bringing me food? That's the only way.
Ramiro, you're my food guy, dude.
What's the
Dude, I sent you something and you didn't even look at it. It's fine. All right, let's get back to it.
Like get mad project.
What are we doing now?
I did this. I put in maybe 2 hours a day. And I want like my third day. So there's a lot of content. Like walk you through and you get to do it. I think it's worth it.
Oh, we're gonna do some more cool stuff now. So we're gonna go into Inquirer. Okay. So Inquirer allows us to put in more inputs than process.argv allows us to do. So process.argv is the default one that allows us to get things out of Node. But Inquirer is a package that allows us to do some really cool inputs. So with Inquirer, you can easily create a command line prompt such as basic input, confirmations, checkboxes, and list selections. And you can also put validation in our code as well. So if I go to number 6, you'll see the code for that over here. So Inquirer says inquirer.prompt, and it has all this other crap in there. And here's where we create a basic text prompt. And notice that these are just a list of objects inside of an array. So take an array of objects, right? And each one of these has different properties. So this one says type. So each one of these has type. So this one is input, this one's password, this one's list, this one's confirm. Has messages, and has name. Get off of Facebook, Jesus. The worst student. I'll put you in a corner.
She actually be really good right now.
Is she?
Yeah.
This is better than normal?
No, it's just like, she's honestly laughing about something that happened about 10 minutes ago.
Oh.
It's just like a hiccup. It just keeps coming back.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. All right, so first thing we're going to do, based on this file, is what? Yeah. Well, yeah. It looks like it's already initted, right? Because it has a package.json. Normally you would do that, yes, correct. So if I do install and I do inquirer.
Or you don't have to, you just do it npm install, right? So it's in the package.
If it's in the package.json, let's see if it is. Oh, it is. So then what do I do? Boom shakalaka.
Are we going to talk about global and local?
I've already mentioned that we are.
today or?
Yes, you asked this already. And I responded that I would. In fact, I'm gonna have Cameron come up and he's gonna talk about global and local packages. Did I? No, I asked you, but I wanted you to go over. Do you mind? No, but when Arpod stops yelling at me. Which so basically never, yeah. When he stops interrupting the class. Okay, so let me open this up now. So I open up basic.js. So if I say node basic.js, say what is my name? Look at that. All right, thank you. What's my password?
Meow.
Meow. Thank you. Is it password? Meow or meow password? Mew. Which Pokemon do you choose?
What would you choose?
Oh, you guys know Squirtle. Come on. No, what? Squirtle's way better. Yeah, he turns into Blastoise. Yeah, so Blastoise is way better. All right. So now we have, and I didn't even create this one, by the way. They did this for me. All right. No, they did this for me. Okay. So what's your name? You don't have to let it kick it. All right. So what's your name? Set your password. Which Pokemon do you choose? Are you sure? Now look at this. It's a lot better in terms of input, right? So if I go over here to, where is it? Basic.js. This is what created it. It's the inquirer. You set these objects inside of the prompt array. So the first type was an input. That means you have to put something inside of it. The message was, what is your name? And the name was name. So this actually refers to the associated, basically, identifier. So let's see how we get that information out. So at the end, we got all the information, right? Now we have this then. Can anyone tell me what this then refers to? I promise, right? Promise. So a promise is nothing but a callback, right? Promise is something newer and better to use because you can chain promises together. Pretty cool. So with this promise, we have this return value, which is user. So this user actually represents the information that we had based on user input. Okay. So to gather the information from this user input, it's actually stored in these different strings. So our name represents this object, our password represents this. So this is user.name, this is user.password, this is user. Pokemon, user.Pokemon, and this is user.confirm. All right, so the name refers to the object it's referencing. So in this case, it says if user.confirm exists, then do the following. Console.log welcome user.name. So whatever name they passed in, it's going to refer to that value. So that's going to take the information, put it into name. So the value of that is what's inside user.name. User.Pokemon is going to be whatever Pokemon they chose over here out of these choices. And it's going to put that into a nice string. Otherwise, if they haven't confirmed at the very end, it's going to say, that's okay, whatever your name is. Come again when you're more sure. Okay? So, pretty cool stuff. I'm watching you. Better be doing work.
So, the user in front of the name is just taking it from what you're passing into that function?
Correct. So, this is coming from the promise. So, this is the function that's running. After the function is done, the promise then returns this object, user.
Okay, that's what you call it.
Exactly, yeah. So this is the same promise that we've been using over and over in Firebase, right? Whenever you return something from a promise, that gets passed into the then and can be used within the function. So what gets returned in this case implicitly is this user object. And then we explicitly use it across here. So we access different data from this user. So we have this user object that's saying, okay, we can confirm, here's the name, here's the Pokemon, etc. Yeah?
So can you go back up?
Mm-hmm.
See the structure here. So this is just what is used to create the user, right?
Yes.
Because it doesn't look like it's saving it anywhere because you're getting the name somehow.
Right.
Which is
Right, so these are all, the name is referring to what's going to be inside of the key value pair, right? So this is referring to the key for this object.
And then inside that key, there will be what?
The value is whatever gets inputted. Yeah, the input, in this case, is a password input. In this case, it's a list input. In this case, it's a confirm input. So then you're able to pass it. And this is all being done for you. Okay? All right, so now let's move on. So now you guys are going to review this real quick. You're going to talk to each other. Are you Snapchatting me? She's sending me Snapchat. In the middle of class? All right. So you guys are going to review this with each other. And you guys are going to talk about exactly what's happening. And then from there, I'm going to have you guys do your own user activity where you guys are going to have your own basic input, password, list, checkbox, and confirm. This is going to be not too difficult. Talk to each other for about a couple minutes. Discuss this. Make sure you guys understand what's going on. You're like completely out of it.
I was hoping to say
Hey, when we look for the Spotify song, is it supposed to come out in one outcome or kind of? Right here it just says.
What does the instruction say? Make it so. Okay.
But a song can have like. Or do we
Just get the first one. Yeah. So if it has multiple listings, just show the first listing. You know how to do that. You can do that. Okay, there you go. See? You have to find a work-life balance. You're getting too crazy. I can tell, actually. You used to come with a lot more energy, and now you're just like.
Once I finish this new project, it's just killing me now. It's just stupid that my boss was like, well, you realize that this is how it's going to be out there. I don't know if he's trying to scare me or something. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be way better mapped than whatever you do.
Yeah, that's not how real life is. Most companies are not like that. They're insane companies, and yeah. Most companies.
Hulu guys seem really relaxed.
Yeah, Hulu is one of the big companies, so they actually want to help their employees out and everything like that. So they're not too bad.
It's attached to it, so I don't know how it's like.
What is that?
Attached to this. I've never seen the photo.
What is that?
I mean, yeah,
The prompt is already set up. It's pretty much you add this code. It's just
yeah.
Well, not because of that.
One time, just say,
After that, if I go into
build our project, we
now it's gone.
this one, this package.
All right. So anyone confused about this? Raise your hand. Any questions?
I still don't get the
.then is basically just a callback. So remember when we're using a callback function with all the other ones? So let's say we have this geocode, and then we say function. So within this method, we're passing a function. This function only runs after this is done. Same thing with a promise.
So prompt is the method.
Prompt is the method, and after it's done, then do the following stuff.
And it's always written like that. Then
Yep.
function. And you can pass whatever words you want.
And you can pass like, yeah, and this is going to be a return object. In this case, it's implicit, meaning that it's doing this stuff for you. It's taking this information and it's returning whatever information they passed in into this user object. So that's being done for you. So now you have this user to use here. This is very specific to just this method. Does that not make sense, or do you want me to explain it? Okay. All right. So now, as opposed to later, something's happening. There we go. All right, so I sent in instructions. The instructions say, create the same basic command line application using the inquire package. So you guys can copy and paste some of this code. Be lazy, right? Ask any 5 questions. I shouldn't have said any 5. Now you guys are going to write something completely dirty. It should include at least one basic input, password, a list, a checkbox, and confirm. Then if a user's password matches a predefined password, so this should be pretty easy, right? You just check user.password against a password that you made up, right? Which is just a string. Redisplay the data back to the user with some text. So if the password that you made up, which is just a string, is the password that they input, so again, this is data validation, right? You're checking to see if this data matches. You guys have done this in your projects. Then send some information back to the user with some text. If you guys need help with Inquire, there's Inquire GitHub documentation, and we also have this giant file over here too. So a lot of this should be copy and pasted. Cool? And that'll be it. After that, then I'm going to have Cameron give an explanation to Arpod, and everyone else can leave about local and global stuff. No, we were going to do debugging. It doesn't work. Yeah, it's the same thing that Cameron mentioned. So it's like, it works every once in a while. Yeah. The debugger inside the terminal works, but if you try to pipe it to the browser,
It's like a Steve Jobs product. You just need to throw stuff at it.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
That's what I should do with you. Anytime you interrupt.
So I'll work on my
I'm just going to end up hitting Jeff on next time. Getting hit with markers? You have like a rough house life?
No, but he wants us to, like that part is easy. It uses password and weird redisplay the data back. Okay, so there has to be two columns. Right? First part is the prompt. What is your answer?
Thank you for calling me when you're eating.
Right, we want
Right before you finish the
Oh yeah, here.
I think it depends on my computer. Like whenever I used to do this, I used to run a virtual machine with, and I had, but I had a really powerful laptop, so I was able to run it on that. You have a pretty powerful laptop, right? So you're able to run like, yeah. So, yeah. So you're running like you can run like multiple VMs. So you just put all your packages just in like everything in like one virtual machine and then just switch between packages. Like if you have like
Yeah, so you then
But they're
so
all
you
like
do a then function you
Yeah, it's not.
then
It doesn't really last like the stuff.
and then it's gonna
What do you have, 32?
Typical network is 60 gigs, which I have that much of
Yeah.
that, so I run
But then
it
in this case,
shut down with some VMs every now
like
and
where
What do you have,
it never
32?
then. On my desktop, I run 64, and on Windows, it's like, I have too many computers.
No, that's a good idea.
Well, I never used it that much. Right, on that machine, I never done it for like 25. I play it for
so that's my question.
it's a package right now.
Like,
Oh, really?
name is getting.
Oh, yeah, everything's right on.
I need to
Seriously.
I need to get into that.
For my project,
Yeah.
for Rockefeller, I just put an order for 12 10 terabyte.
You just write that up.
Yeah. Whatever money you make, you can subtract from, well, if you work at a company for salary, it's harder to write it off.
Unless you had
Yeah. So if your tax return is special, or if you go over a certain dollar amount, it's like $15,000 or $10,000. If you're allotted $10,000 worth of costs that relate to your actual job, you go over that, you can write it off.
So you can just be like alien. I just want to do this.
Oh, no, I'm saying, if you spend less than $1,000, you have a full-time salary.
Right, but like what's it then?
If you go over that,
Yeah. So then that was just fine.
So that's why you need the 1099.
or you get a different
Because if you get a 1099, then anything you buy can go directly against that.
I might just do that.
It just writes it off. Yeah, all you have to do is get 1 or 2 a year.
What do you have to have like clients in order to do that, or can you just say like, hey, I'm just paying? How do I legally hide my money?
How do I move things
How do you move things
Why do you freelance for your wife?
That's true. You could, right? Because she could be a partner.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that starts getting sticky.
So you can freelance.
I know.
There's a loophole that you can, it's not a loophole, you can freelance for somebody, they can pay you, and you get the money back. They say it's free, but you still work that money.
Right.
You can still write it off.
There you go. Thank you.
They still have to pay you, it has to exchange hands.
Nice. I mean, physically, I can just be like,
As long as you ask for money, they will do a job, and then you make the money back, say it's free.
there you go. Yeah, now we figured it out. No, I have a lawyer now. It's fine. She has nothing to do with criminal law, but she's gonna figure it out. Actually, right?
That's family.
Yeah. No, it's my cousin. She works here now. Yeah. I don't know any. Oh, I have a friend at the DA, but she puts people in jail. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
this
not
is.
work.
I told her, I was like, you're gonna help me get out of jail. She's like, no, that's not what I do. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I only deal with crime.
So that's just something Inquire does that on its own?
I parked far as hell because it's free. Did you get the 2 hour and then after 6 it's free?
Yeah, they want
Like, I don't see the code.
Oh, you got the 8 Oh, I actually there's one. If you go up to like Haley, next to like close to like Saffron, like right up here, they actually have a bunch that's free parking. So if you park at 4, it's free on that time. So if you come here like like so you get here like 4:45 or something, just by parking around there, and I mean there's a lot of signs. It's like 2 hour parking up to 6 p.m. After that's free. And then there's all day parking that's free if you go up on Veterans. So, but it's kind of a walk, but
So yeah, every time I guess like
and plus, oh yeah, I want to talk to you. want to build this game. Like right now, actually, I hired a concept art to start building from the concept art. So I want to start off with Firebase, so client side, Firebase. I built a lot of logic, so I built the auth logic.
And now, like,
I was build like Flare, Firebase is kind of have you worked with Firebase? Yeah. It might actually be more useful because it's really complicated. The whole thing's easy. So if you're waiting on closing promises the whole way every transaction yeah, but I'll show you right now. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, okay, check this out. This is my game. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, it's so much easier if you use like MySQL.
Yeah. And now I'm afraid of things.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
I'm not like have snide remarks on.
I just like fucking Omar, making me do this stupid shit. Wait, what?
Oh, you're OSP 123.
No, yes.
I saw something from you.
Oh, what did you say?
I don't know. You did like a pull request. I'm not like stalking you. It shows. I'm getting all these emails.
You're like on my LinkedIn profile. Oh, that's where he lives. No, that's me. All right, so I have like so auth logic. This is kind of normal.
How do you like set up schema, or can you?
Actually, schema's all through. It's really weird. It's you can set up schema, but it's all through JSON.
Oh, so it's like Elasticsearch then.
Kind of. What? I'll show you. It's like here.
Unless it's like a weird.
It's like you build the schema on the fly, or you can pre-populate it.
So it's then more like Mongo.
Yeah.
Why don't we just use Mongo?
That's what they're saying, but.
Do they teach Mongo later?
Yeah, we are going to be going over Mongo.
Right. Well, yeah. I know that they said they're going to like reevaluate some of the lessons.
Yeah, I mean, because Firebase, I think to start off with was actually really difficult. Because like, okay, so it's pretty simple, right? It's like the whole thing's in JSON format.
That's actual data.
That's actual data, and you can manipulate it in here. So, and here it's like you have to go through. Like you'll notice a ton of promises. Like after you do something, you then can set information. So the whole thing's based on listeners. So if something changes, first you get a snapshot of everything, and then in that location that actually let me explain the whole Firebase. Okay, Firebase is based on URLs and paths, right?
Yeah.
So every path is a key.
Oh.
So okay, so like everything in here, like let's say is a key of this object, right?
That's similar to Elasticsearch, sort of. Do you use like REST commands, like post put git, to change things?
No, you you use like JavaScript, which then does those for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the background. So it implicitly does that. So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So it looks like it's easy, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Right. But now this is the weird part. Okay, so everything's a key value. But the thing is, if you want to set data, you have to first listen for it. And you listen for it using this value. So let's say that you have... let me put the logic on.
They're not over their time. I don't want to distract you.
Nah. So here it is. Okay. So, Jesus, there's so many things I forgot. All right. So you check. Okay, am I online? After that, you say, okay, if this. Then you pass something in, and then you check if someone is available. No, this one's actually not too bad. Where's a complicated one that really confuses the crap out of me? Here we go. So here's a function that I called. You have to return it first, and you do it once, and you say, like, get the value. After that, so this is basically saying at this location, listen for it, and just return whatever's at this portion at this one time. After you get that, then give me the snapshot, and then on the snapshot, I can then do the following. And and I can then set a bunch of information, retrieve a bunch of information. But then if I want to do anything with that information afterwards, I'd have to use promises because everything is asynchronous. So you have to kind of create synchronicity by chaining everything together in a whole series of convoluted like promises, which gets
Like almost forces you to write some bad code.
it like really like look at this, like this is like super nested bad code, right? Like I have like once thens inside of thens inside of thens. And, like,
You can denest some of those probably. I can show you how.
I mean, like just to make them like parallel.
Yeah, and like this.
Well, I mean, this is just badly written,
The top
right?
4 each you could play. There's some ways you can use it. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But this is actually not even the for each from JavaScript.
What's that
for
actually,
each is
what's
actually
that code actually doing? Like,
oh this
like
fuck.
high level, is it updating a user or something?
This is seat check and room update. So it's updating. It has to do multiple things. It has to update the seat, check that seat is available. So I'm creating rooms, so channels, right, where players can go into.
Yeah.
So I pre-populated rooms or channels, and there's 4 empty seats. And I check to see if there's an empty seat in there. If there is, the seat gets populated. With the user ID of the player. So with the player, you can't just get the user ID. You know, like in like MySQL, you just be like, okay, give me the user ID, and it just gives you back. This you actually get it from somewhere else. Because if you try to get it from there, you have to use a listener. So I had to pipe it in there.
There's like too much middleman kind of.
Yeah, it's like a cluster. Yeah, so I had to pipe everything in from the very beginning.
Oh, so then you have like you have a huge amount of memory being used probably too.
Yeah.
You just have like huge scope creep. Like, here's all my data.
Yeah, and I just send that data back. So
That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, so it's really annoying. And so I was like, I had to figure out ways of like minimizing that. So I had to denormalize. First, I denormalized my data. Second, I took the minimal amount of information that I would need and extracted it from that to pass it in. So that way my scope's like as minimal as possible, but I'm still,
But yeah, you do all that just to get it working or optimized. Then you're gonna kind of throw that code away for the next version.
yeah, and then it's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. I hate throwing away code.
I know, right? Because like it could have been like good code that I could use like with Mongo. Like if it was MySQL, I could use that same code with
Yeah,
Mongo.
you could like use the logic and not really the connection part.
Yeah.
Like if you take out the connection to Firebase and connect it, so that's annoying.
Yeah, so not have to rewrite the JavaScript entirely.
Yeah, I mean I can already tell 'cause it's like it's very heavily focused on how Firebase works.
Exactly. And all these, like this for each, like it's not from JavaScript. This is from Firebase. Like you have to use that in order to
their
loop through
special
it.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's why. It's like otherwise I'd use like something else. But it only allows you to use like certain. Yeah. So this was fun.
I would suggest Mongo. Maybe just even Redis. Like, well, maybe not Redis because you can't even query it.
Right.
But yeah, Mongo's. Aren't they teaching? Yeah, they're teaching Mongo, but and Dynamo. No,
Now, they're teaching Mongo and MySQL. So we're gonna. The thing is, like in the first 7 weeks, they learn front-end development, right? So they're learning like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. But they need to work with the database in order to create their first project. So they decided on Firebase. So they're like, oh, it's JavaScript based. Therefore,
it's like SQLite for that reason alone. Like it's basic. You don't need a server. You can run it off files.
Yeah.
They can view the files. It's like everything that does is probably better because you're doing SQL queries.
right. But then we don't know SQL yet. So you have to teach them SQL.
But you have to teach them Firebase.
I did. That was a bitch, yeah. So I was like, okay, do you think it would be better if we teach them SQL instead of having to teach them? Because we only spent 2 days on Firebase.
Well, I mean, I don't think places really use Firebase.
No one uses
So like,
Firebase.
it's kind of almost not useful for them as a job.
I think that's what they're mentioning. Too.
And if you learn SQL earlier, it's probably better because like I've worked with plenty of people that still don't know SQL that well.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Well, different levels like juniors and mid-level devs. So there's plenty of people out there that still don't know great SQL. So it doesn't hurt to learn more SQL earlier.
Right.
So I would say SQLite or Mongo.
Okay, so then let's go with let's try and work on that. Like, and maybe talk to them. Just be like, hey, instead of spending like 2 days on Firebase, why don't we spend 2 days on learning the basics of SQL?
Yeah, it's like just keep the application simple.
Because I think that's a good idea.
Then you can kind of like percolate in their mind until like you guys actually cover MySQL later.
Mm-hmm.
So It's like stuff they can use in a few weeks or however long it takes to get back to MySQL.
Yeah, I haven't used like SQLite since
I haven't
5
used it
years
in a
ago.
long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good SQL, like light file-based SQL implementations that are perfect.
Yeah, and then SQL Pro makes it so easy, or like MySQL Workbench. Like,
Oh, you can
just
even
visualize.
use SQLite in Workbench too. Or,
Oh, really?
Well, SQL Pro, I think. Some of them
Okay.
support SQLite as like type.
Oh, wow.
It's like even better for that too. Like you can get used to the tools.
Yeah.
How do you? Is that the only way you can see the data on Firebase?
Yeah.
The console.
Yeah, so you can, I mean, you can output the data, of course.
So
but
another thing is you have to have the internet for this to work.
Yep.
So that's the downside.
Yeah.
You can't do
like,
it on a laptop.
yeah, it's all URL based.
Yeah. So with like SQLite, it's on my machine, just like a SQL server.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll pitch it.
Yeah, just try it out, and I'll be like, "Hey, that's a great idea,
Thumbs up.
Cameron." And then like we'll play it out, and like, "Oh, thank you, Omar."
You should like have some fake like not contradictions,
Like arguments,
against,
like,
yeah.
but what about this?
But what about this?
And be like,
Glad you
well, or pick me out of a crowd. I'm wearing a mustache.
Yeah. I have a question, sir. Yeah, see right there, the handsome young gentleman in the first one.
Yes, Mohammed. Yes, I just wanted to know. That'd be pretty good, actually. I could work.
All right, yeah. I still have 2 weeks, so I can kind of complain before I like preemptively complain.
Yeah, and just like, you know, that's what.
Maybe I'll be like the pilot program.
Yeah, for the SQLite, or just do it and
Or
just be
whatever.
like, "Oh, sorry, I thought we agreed on that." Yeah, I don't think they'll care too much. Because I mean, like Firebase is like, I mean, it was fun because it allows you to do some things really easily. Like their authentication system is really well done.
Oh yeah, probably because it's Google, right?
Yeah. So you can do OAuth pretty easily.
Oh, you can use your Gmail account or Google account.
Yeah, and you can integrate multiple sign-in, multiple OAuth and regular email
Oh, cool.
into one
Facebook,
user.
Twitter, etc.
Yeah, so it links them all together, even if you signed in like a different
Oh yeah,
time.
that's
That's
doing that's
huge.
pretty.
Yeah, right.
I hate doing that.
Oh man, I actually like I think they asked us to do it, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm working on a freelance project, and it's just gonna have its own auth system, and then like one of the designers is like, he showed this comp and it's like, sign in with Facebook. I was like, David, why did you do that? Now I have to implement it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, oh, Firebase, and you guys take care of it.
Yeah.
So it's good for authentication, bad for writing data.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, oh, actually, it's really good for chat clients and stuff like that too, because it's the whole thing is it's like an open stream, right? So, like the data shows up immediately, so it's good for like chatting with each other.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that with other things, though. Like Dynamo or Mongo.
Yeah.
Kind of. Or Redis is a good one.
Yeah, I think Redis would be good for
It has
chat.
like the listeners.
I haven't used Redis in a while. That was just like the key value pairs, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing's just a string of key value pairs.
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah.
But you have. There's some other things you can do, like sets, like a list that has different. You can have a sized list that, say it's 5 in length, and you add something, it'll push out the bottom.
Oh, cool.
Like minor things like that, or hashes too. They have some hashes.
Yeah,
So yeah, we just use it for caching. We don't use it for like database stuff.
I think that's what we used it for. I never got to work with Redis. I was working with just the MySQL database.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Redis as anything beyond cache. Like, if I was going to do something crazy, I'd probably use Mongo or Dynamo or something, or a relational database like MySQL.
Yeah. That's why, like, I think people are just like trying to move away from MySQL. I'm like, it still works perfectly.
They
Yeah, like,
must be doing something right.
right? Yeah. I mean, like, fine, move to Node because it's faster. That makes sense. But why like create all these new databases that kind of don't work out? I think they just want to like try new things.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But, make it well.
Yeah.
Like this
The
is
interface of that looks pretty awful. Like, I've seen better interfaces. No, not this, but the code you showed.
The
like,
code, yeah.
The way the get and set data is
Yeah, it's. I'll show you. It's if you look to the code and try to understand logic, it's like holy shit. Like I had to use a bunch of hacky logic in order to.
I haven't gotten to that lesson plan, and I'm kind of. I'll have to look at it tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, well, what happens is like they'll give you basics, but like students want to build like actual databases with authentication and stuff. So I built it for them, and then they had to like implement it, and it was like really hard. And so
you kind of had to learn more Firebase.
yeah, because I had to learn like now, and plus it's fun because I build games.
Yeah, I'll probably build something to make it work.
Yeah.
So it's class over at 9:30, but people kind of hang out.
No, it's office hours until 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So, oh, hey, did you want to give that speech about difference between local and global packaging?
I think he's the one who wants to do it.
Oh, that's okay. Let's see. So, Cameron's now going to give a small little burst about difference between local and global packages. So, yeah, you can erase it. Yeah, hold on.
Alright, so when you install Node modules, you can install them locally or globally. We've asked the question a few times, I think, already tonight. But you guys want to know the difference between global and local, right? That's what we're going to talk about. So global, well, let's start with basically, so we have a few projects. So we have an API project. We have, I don't know, CMS. That's a content management system to manage your data, like a WordPress instance. And say we have a project that, a website that does cat photos. And they all run Node as their backend server. And they all have their own package files. There's 3 different package files, but they're all installed in the same machine, like your MacBooks or your Windows laptops. In some cases, you're going to want to, if you're developing locally, you're going to want to reuse some of these packages. One of the most common things is unit testing. So pretty common framework is Mocha. It's a unit testing framework that you run, that'll run all your unit tests and give you the output and tell you if your test passed or failed. You don't necessarily want to install it 3 times because it's the same version either way. So we can install it globally. Also, I should note, if you want to be cool, you can just put I, it'll do npm install. And you just put a flag at the end, -G, that stands for global, or you can do -- global. And does anybody know where that will go? It goes up into your path on the computer. So it'll do some really nice things automatically for you. First, it'll install Mocha to a safe folder that's kind of global to your projects. But it'll also set it up in your path so that the bin mocha.js, the mocha.js file that runs your library Mocha will be added to a command line alias called Mocha. So now I can just do Mocha blank and run Mocha commands from this command line alias. You can do that with practically any Node module, but not all of them really work command line wise. The thing I want to point out though is that in real life situations, people don't really do global installs as much as they used to. Maybe for something like Grunt or Sass, which you might cover later in class, I think. Typically, you have different versions of Mocha for different projects, and you can't get around that because you have 5 developers working on this and 3 developers on this, and these developers wanted to upgrade Mocha to 4, and these ones left it at 3, and now you have different versions of Mocha. So instead, you install it locally, and that'll show up in that famous Node modules folder that you guys have seen. And that'll have its own version of Mocha that's different than the global one. So when you run Mocha, it'll run this guy's version of Mocha. The difference here, though, is that now that it's not installed globally, we don't get this nice benefit of the command line interface. But there's always a but. It makes this folder called bin inside your node modules folder. So if you guys have your node modules folder up and you did npm install Mocha without the G, just this part, you'll see that'll make a bin Mocha file, and you can actually do the command line. You'd have to write it out, but you could do point to the direct bin and run it the same way that you'd run this one. Did I lose anybody there?
Is there a way that you can check to see what node modules you've installed?
Yeah. Globally, I haven't done that in a while, but I know for local you can do npm list, and it'll, if you try it right now, you'll see it output. Well, depending on how many modules you have, it'll dump out all sorts of data, but usually it's not that bad. It'll just show whatever node modules are installed in this folder locally. Globally, I don't remember the command, but if you go to the npm page on the Node.js website, you can find it. I think it's probably still list. Maybe there's a -G at the end. If I had to guess, I would say it's that.
What if you created an alias for each Mocha version? Just use that, like Mocha API, Mocha CMS, Mocha website.
You could do that. You couldn't install them globally though with that because they could only be one Mocha globally.
If you do list minus global, it'll give you the where
So
it's in-
yeah,
and where it's installed.
typically
Use
the
local
people
line.
that made npm kept the flags the same, so that's good. Question?
Yeah, just if you do have it installed globally, but then you wanted for a certain project to install a newer version locally on one file, you wouldn't need to get rid of the global,
No.
right? It would use the local one.
It wouldn't use it. So if I installed Mocha here and left these ones as the global, these two projects I'd still have to use Mocha. API I'd have to use this Mocha. If I used just Mocha, it would use global. So that's
So it takes them more specific.
yeah. So you'd have to be like, I want to use the local node modules Mocha. Yeah. So like I said before, the command line interface to node modules is common for more developer tools like unit testing or SAS, Grunt. These are all tools. Gulp. I'm just throwing out things you guys might not have heard of any of them, but if anything rings a bell. Any other questions? On typical production environments, we don't really often do global installs. Just throwing that out there. It's a lot safer to keep it compartmentalized. Global installs can be dangerous because permissions and all that. So if you're inside your own folder, usually permissions are a lot cleaner. It's relative to that folder. Any other questions?
What if they do as well, they forget to do a --save for like a module?
There's a command that'll actually save whatever modules you have installed. You'd have to go to the docs for that, but there's a way to fix that. If I could go on your computer and Google it.
The keys are kind of sticky. I don't know why. They make it.
Oops, I guess it's right here.
Just go into his history.
Don't show the history.
So here's all the things we just talked about. I think there's a section. Oops. I didn't spell folders. I don't know why I have that memorized, but I do. But yeah, here's the too long didn't read version of what I just said. Put stuff in local node modules, global with a G puts it in user local or wherever else it could be. Install it locally if you're going to use it in your actual program. Install it globally if you're not, which is what I say in like unit testing, dev tools. If you're actually writing a program like a server or something, you're not going to use global modules. It's considered bad practice.
So the npm link there, since it's installed locally,
It will install it twice basically, and then do this for you, and then put it also here. Again, people don't really use that too often. It's just there. Some developer thought it was cool to put it in there as a feature, and they just left it. And now they have to maintain it. Cool. Also for that package.json where you don't have modules, I believe if you delete your package.json and then do npm init, it'll actually pull in, it should pull in all the modules that are already installed, but you are deleting your package.json, so whatever else is in there will get lost. That's what Git's for though, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, try that and then do npm init, it should pull in whatever you already have. So I've done that before. All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to start teaching in about 2 weeks, so stop by and say hi. Or 3 weeks, September 19th.
So if you guys have no questions, you don't have to ask me anymore. So just Slack it.
Yeah, my email is omar@gmail.com.
We're gonna haze your class.
The same class, just like we're going to start from square one basically. So
We're gonna haze your class.
yeah, we're going to be 10 weeks behind you basically. So we might invite people over to my class to help. If anybody wants to volunteer. So yeah, September 19th, there's 2 classes, mine and then the Tuesday, Thursday class. So.
Oh, actually, yeah, this is gonna get more bills. He's trying to sell the well, like this isn't like a
Did you check your Snapchat?
What? What did you send me? Colin was a good student until he sat next to him. I'm gonna have to move you. I'm gonna have to move you to the corner. Just okay.
Ask her about Gemma's dog.
Gemma, what happened to your dog?
What? Oh my god.
What?
I was explaining how my dog has an attitude and he could be the biggest asshole, but Steph's goes and says, oh, I heard my dog has the biggest asshole.
As we were talking about like a poodle and everything,
Poodle is
and we're all
smart.
thinking. Like this little chihuahua.
I never even would have thought of that as a category. Wide open poodle assholes.
Did you watch the video?
What? Are you sending me things? What? I'm confused. How do you use Snapchat?
Okay.
Are you serious?
Well, what's your juice
You need to pay attention. You're not gonna work at Hulu if you don't.
Nice bikini, dude.
Well, it is the season.
I like that. I like the mix.
Yeah, I mean, probably
That's good that we have someone that's like a node expert now.